Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to evercrisis. I'm going to be showcasing how I completed the EX3 with my account. It is all completely free to play. Obviously, luck is involved when it comes to having overboost weapons, 4-star materia, and all that. But at least I'm going to show you the strategy I used that really helped. And there's one thing I want to add here. I'm going to leave a link down below, probably in the comment section. But if you check my Twitch channel, I'm not saying come watch my live streams, but I highlighted a 48-minute segment of where I started this fight all the way to where I completed the fight, and you can see everything I struggled with and how I fixed it. So I went into the fight and I was like, okay, I'm getting one-shotted. Let's go adjust my HP. Okay, I need this material. Let's go grab this materia. Okay, I need this weapon. Let's go put on this weapon. So you're going to see all the trial and error, and I really recommend that you guys go watch that. It isn't the most like eventful or exciting thing to watch. It's probably really boring because there's no background music. My VODs don't have background music. So it's literally just me going, yeah, okay, we'll switch this. It's very educational though, as in like how my brain works and how I go through a thought process of actually setting up my team. It's not that I just push recommended, switch some things around, and then I first tried it. No, there's a lot of trying. It was about an hour's worth before I actually completed this, but I did get my team up to level 55. I did upgrade all my materia, and I did get my characters as strong as possible. So there's a lot of work when it comes to actually being this EX3, especially as a free-to-play player, but hopefully something in this video does help you guys out. Let's talk about the team itself. I'm going to have a video coming out after this one soon explaining how to get 4-star materia. It may look like I have a lot of them, but you got to remember this account is over 30 days old. A lot of RNG is involved, but there is a way to guarantee that you have a higher chance at getting 4-star materia. The big tip here, if you can look at my setup, it's the materia. The materia is going to make or break this fight, and I'll tell you why. You can see that Cloud or Sephiroth does not have any sigil breaks. And the reason for that is because when I'm playing, I'm on my healer and I'm playing in manual, so I can make sure that I take care of the party and no one is breaking Sephiroth during the phase that he's weak to wind and the phase that he's weak to earth, because that's where you're going to dish out all the damage. So you're going to grab your best 4 3-star materia. I would suggest it to be 3-star or higher because you're going off of the percentage, right? 287% comes off of 4-star. The 3-star is not too far behind. So if you only have a 3-star, you're looking at 275. So it's not huge, but it's enough to give you that extra little boost, that extra 12% overall, right? So as long as you have a 3-star version of Earth and Wind, both your DPSs, and you should have 2 of them, should be carrying Wind and Earth. Wind and Earth. So the only reason my healer has it is because these are stat sticks. This materia, the water materia, and the blizzard materia on Cloud, they're stat sticks. So basically they have the best physical attack or HP, whatever I need, and they're there to add that extra stack of stats to my character. Physical attack, magic attack, and the reason this is important is physical and magical combined equals how much damage your limit break will do. So when you're doing the growth tree, where you upgrade your characters to level 55 and you unlock all those nodes, it is good to unlock both the magical and physical stat because your limit breaks deals 2,275%, 2.275. Physical and magical. It combines both your stats together to do that damage. So the more those 2 stats are up, the more your limit break summons will do damage. Your healer should be carrying a Cura, and the reason being is because my air stats aren't that good and I can't AoE heal with Fairy Tail. If it was Matt, same idea. So I put in a single Cura here, and that's just to get that potency of 92%, right? The better stats it has, the better for you. Now you're going to look at the stats I have, and Aerith is all built towards having just healing. Heal 1,552. That's because everything I put on her has healing. I didn't put on her costume for healing because it didn't give me the next R ability. So if you see, if I put this here, it doesn't change and I just lose HP. So I'm using her summer outfit to give me that boost HP, right? So you got to look back and forth and be like, oh, well, this didn't bring me into the next boost heal section. Over here, it's at 33 points. I needed 2 more points to get that much more healing. So if I had 2 more points, she would do much better. But because it doesn't benefit, I put on HP. Now, take that in consideration. HP has to be around 5,000, right? Depending on what your physical defense buff is, if you don't have a lot of HP, stack a lot of physical defense and magic defense. And if you do this, you'll survive a lot more attacks with a lot less HP. So you're either substituting your sub weapons or your weapons to increase your physical defense, because when you cast Barrier or Aerith's Mithril Rod here does both physical and magical. Whenever you cast this, it multiplies it from these stats. So the higher this stat, the better, right? So that goes for every character. If you don't have the HP sub weapons like the umbrella from the event or the gloves from Tifa, the other event weapons that have HP on it, then try to stack your physical defense. Sephiroth here has really good physical defense. So does Aerith, has physical magical defense. Cloud doesn't, but he's got 5,600 HP. So find that balance of good defense stats plus HP. You don't have to have over 6,000. Totally fine not to have that. Now, everything else I told you is trial, error, trial, and error, trial, and error. These are the sub weapons I am using. These are the free ones. All purples you see are free event weapons that they gave us, or farming Shiva, right? Event weapon. These are Tifa's healings. This is Sephiroth's weapon. So they're just there, and I min-maxed my character. I went in, I died. I'm like, okay, I needed 100 more HP. Let's take away, I had 2,600 magic attack. I took away 400 for more survivability. I added more physical, magical, and HP. I went for survivability, not just pure damage. So Cloud could have over 20, almost 2,700 attack on my account. I took that away, and I got myself more HP and more HP because I didn't have any other physical defense or magic defense. So go through your inventory and check out what your weapons are to give you that key between HP, defense, and survivability, but while doing good damage. Now, the big key factor here is have a way to increase your defense. You don't have to use my team. Whatever you have for the best DPS, go in. But having Sephiroth on the team and his new weapon is what allows us to survive those Octa slashes. All I needed was one cast of this, which increases my defense by 2 tiers. If you guys don't know already, you go into the setting right here. You go all the way to settings. Well, that would be options, settings, and you go to battle. Click this on, buff and debuff icon detail, and that's going to show you how many tiers of defense you have, or the enemy has debuffs, or their buffs as well. So that's going to cast 2 tiers out of 3 for defense up. I could cast this first for 1 tier, and then this would add 2 more, doing the max, but I never had to do that. Aerith was only healing. So this is why you play in manual, because when Sephiroth targets someone with Octaslash, you're going to go to your Sephiroth and you're going to give them the defense while making sure they're full HP, and that's how you survive those single target hits. So key here is using Barrett's or Sephiroth's free event weapon, or any other character, because a lot of characters' weapons that increase your physical defense up. Very, very important. So now that we got all the key factors in here, having a very strong limit break, because that damage is going to matter. Having the wind and earth materia on both your DPSs and no sigil breaks. These are just stat sticks. The healer has a Cura because it heals more than the AoE heal, and because he Octa slashes, you got to get that character back up as soon as possible so Shadow Flare doesn't kill you. Everything else is you min-maxing your account to survive and also do enough damage. Survive first and then do damage. All right, so this is gonna be pulling from my Twitch VOD. There's a guy behind me that looks just like me wearing the same shirt. So the thing I want to talk about here is this, right? Key number 1 is understand how this works. And I talked about this all the way back at the watermelon event where we were farming Zack's umbrella. The attack stance and defense stance. Never stay in defense. You only go defense when he's about to hit you with any move, not just his big cast move. Whenever you see an enemy about to charge, switch to defense really quickly and you reduce all incoming damage. And then switch it back to attack, because this little white bar here is going to go full, and that's what's going to give you 50% stats. And you can see in defense mode, I took 30% less damage and 50% extra healing. When this is depleted to empty, you lose half of this. So you never want to stay in defense mode, because defense mode will reduce this all the way down. And when you switch back to attack mode uses the same bar. So if that was down here because we were too long in defense mode, then that would be bad for our attack mode. So you always want to switch very quickly when you're healing. So you're about to heal, change it to defense mode, heal, and then back to attack mode right away. Because if you don't, every time your DPS over here DPSing, they're doing 25% less damage, making this fight much longer. And Sephiroth has this thing that if you actually DPS him fast enough, he skips one of his phases and goes right into the earth. I believe it's the earth or the wind one. We'll find out in a second. He goes right into that phase instead, right? So you don't have to actually go through another phase of getting damage. So if you can do enough damage in the beginning, you can skip a couple phases. But really important to make sure you are in that attack mode at all times, except for when taking a hit and you're about to heal. Besides that, always attack mode. So watching this VOD right here, this is the beginning of the fight. At the beginning of this fight, you're going to be seeing him cast Heartless Angel. Heartless Angel is going to reduce your HP to 1, so you don't have to be in defense mode. You don't have to top off your heals. Save all your ATB like you're about to watch. So my ATB goes to full. This is fully charging. Once this reaches max, it's going to go into that full unison buff, and that's what you want. But back to the fight. Heartless Angel hits one character. That's Aerith. Aerith's at 1 HP down here. Our go-to now is grab Cura, defense mode, and this is why I'm playing in manual, so I can choose who I'm healing and choose who I'm throwing Sephiroth's barrier on. So you're going to see me click on defense mode, click on Cure, and go straight to Aerith, because that's going to heal for way more than my Curaga A, because that's an AoE heal with less potency. So that's key number 1, is getting that character to double heal. If I use the AoE heal, it wouldn't be enough. Defense mode, heal Aerith. Aerith is now at a really good HP. Switch to defense to take reduced damage. Shadow Flare is magical. So the reason you know this is a magic attack, if you rewind that really quickly, you'll see right above its head, Shadow Flare, and it shows a wand. That's magic. If it was sword, that's physical. So you know you have to use a mana wall or a barrier depending on what attack. So we're taking away magic damage right now. If you need more magic defense, go for magic defense, but most of this is physical defense is really going to hurt you. So now that phase happened, we're now going to go between healing, see, switch to defense, back to attack, and getting everyone up as soon as possible, because after these 3 basic attacks, he's going to go into his first sigil break and weakness phase. Depending on what you did, you can most likely skip Shadow Flare and go straight into this. Or no, not Shadow Flare. You can skip Octoslash here if you do enough DPS. So what we're going to do here, because we didn't skip Octoslash, Sephiroth, if you look up there, has a little orange lock-on icon. That means he is only single targeting attacking right now, Sephiroth. And this is where Cura comes in place if there's not a big gap. Let's say I had 2,500 HP, I would then Cura on Sephiroth to make sure he's fully healed. But because it's not, I could use Curaga A here for the AoE heal. Sorry, that was my girls knocking at the door if you heard the doot. Pizza's here. So, back into the fight. We're going to go for Sephiroth now, because Sephiroth has that barrier off of his weapon, or whatever character you're bringing in that has barrier. So, we're going to make sure that the character that's being targeted is healed, and Sephiroth gets the barrier. So now he's full healed. We're in defense mode. We have barrier on. Octoslash has a sword, meaning physical. We take a total of, boom, 3,429 damage. And that's because my Sephiroth does have that 140 physical defense. With barrier on top, that reduces even more damage. So find that sweet spot for HP and physical defense for you on each character so you can survive that Octoslash, because that's your biggest concern here. Now we're going to go in and finish off this fight. This is the first phase of Wind Infusion. So this is the phase where you could break the sigils a little bit faster with your healer. If you can't survive the AoE physical or magical attacks that are coming through, then you have to break these sigils. But if you build this properly, you're not going to break the sigils here, and you're going to let him hit you with this spell and let your DPS go crazy with those earth materias or an earth weapon if they have an earth weapon. So this is that entire phase. You're going to see that both my characters are doing about 5,000 damage with theirs. And that's it. You're here to heal with Aerith and switch to defense whenever Sephiroth's about to move. So you're going to watch Sephiroth. I'd usually time it where I'm healing. That way I take reduced damage. If I do poorly, I don't, right? I think in the beginning of the fight, I didn't really worry about that. I was just seeing how much damage I was doing. And you can see during this entire phase how much HP bar I just chopped off because I'm not sigil breaking. Don't sigil break. That's one of the key things here. because we don't have that much damage as other people do, we gotta sit through these big hits. So we're switching to defense mode, we're at a decent amount of HP, and we're taking a hit of like 3,000, give or take on each character. Now we're recovering. What we can do though, as soon as your limit breaks are up, be in full attack mode for the 50% extra damage and cast both of them. Because limit break summons come up very quickly. Whenever you can use them, use them. Do not use it during the sigil break because he doesn't take any damage for anything except for what he's weak to. So you got to do it after he casts his spell or he's in that mode where you broke him. Now, he's going to go back into a bunch of basic attacks, and now he's in Earth Infusion. Again, these are our only 2 opportunities to burst him down as soon as possible, but while he's in this, you are paying attention to when he attacks, and you're going to switch to defense to take less damage. I didn't do it. I had to heal a lot more here, and I got very close to death, but that's your job as a healer while your DPS AI themselves, right? Switch to defense for healing, switch to defense, and block that damage. I could have took 30% less damage if I was paying attention. But you got to be careful with going to defense mode. It's better to face tank these, because when you go into defense mode, while you're in defense mode, if your Sephiroth, your Cloud, whatever your DPS is, decides to cast an ability while you're in defense, you just lost 50% damage. So that's why if you can face tank it, face tank it. It's not always good to switch to defense for every attack the enemy does. If you had control of all 3 characters, different story. But the AI will still sometimes cast an ability if they have enough ATB in that defense mode. So keep that in mind. Now that we got through those 2 phases of Earth weakness and Wind weakness, he's going to do another Heartless Angel. This one is single target. So it's always the same thing. That's why following this step by step, he's going to get the same results. He's going to do Heartless Angel, takes away all the way down to 1 HP. Our job here is not to AoE cure, it's to cure the one character. I had a mistake, I switched and switched back. But when you see Boundless Strength, an Octoslash is coming. So Heartless Angel, get that character up as soon as possible. What you can do in manuals or semi, you can just switch to defense and your AI will heal if you're in defense mode. That way I had control of the barrier and Aerith finish healing my Sephiroth, who takes 3,688 damage. So you can see Sephiroth survived with 148, just barely made it because he wasn't full HP. Now, after that phase is done, we're going to cure just Sephiroth to get him up to match with everyone else. You guys decide when to use AoE cure and cure depending on your character's HP. So after Octoslash, he goes into those random attacks again. And now he's going to have a couple of phases where you're going to have an opportunity to do different things here and there. Hell's Gate is something you should switch to defense mode to take less damage because you're stunned for a bit, right? I didn't do that, but as soon as that stun comes up, that first stun after everything, you save your ATB to interrupt them. If you don't, it's pretty much death. So this is the opportunity to fully heal, get your limit breaks back up, and as soon as they show up, you are casting them again. Because after he does a stun and you break him, he's going to another Octoslash, so you have to be ready. I took a little too long here, and I kept my summons because I decided I'd rather just focus on getting the barrier back up, because every time an Octoslash comes, full HP, barrier. Every time you see Boundless Strength and then Octoslash, get ready to heal. Now again, I'm not really focused, but you can see here I screwed up. My actual attack stance is not fully completed, so this is 25% less damage. I only have the bonus of 25, so I'm doing less damage here, which would have made this fight faster and easier. So make sure if you're casting them, don't do the mistake I did. I definitely could have done way better here. You're going to see tax full. It says I have 50% now. That 50% also has sigil breaking in it, so keep that in mind too. It's easier to break sigils if that's full. Now, your job, again, you're always on the healer, never the DPS unless you're doing the barrier. We're trying to get everyone even. This is a place where I have to AoE heal because everyone's dying. So switch to defense for the attack. Switch back to attack mode. Don't let it stay there. Once you're ready, switch back to defense and heal. I'm going to cast an AoE heal because everyone needs it. Octoslash is coming. I believe I switched to Sephiroth, and I do use my limit break here. If you notice, I save this as much as I can. Whenever it's up, I use it for the uh-oh moment, and this is that uh-oh moment. So we're gonna pretty much take a very, very, very big hit here. Just barely making it with the barrier on him, right? And that full heal. If I didn't have that limit break there, that would have hurt. So make sure you're always topping off the character that's getting targeted. So saving that Cura instead of AoE healing. Now he does the exact same thing. After that one, he goes into his sigil break where you have to break him really quickly. So that limit break really helped, making sure I had ATB gauge to break Sephiroth before he does another big hit. Now, Shadow Flare is AoE. We're going to make sure that we're up, and because he's a lot stronger right now, I decided to cast Saving Grace to take less damage. Not necessary. Saving Grace is my second weapon on Aerith that has a magic defense up. But even without it, I still would have survived this hit because we have plenty HP. I just did it just in case. Not necessary. So even if you don't have Saving Grace, you're totally fine with this Aerith build. Just put something else to increase your heal like Guarding Stick. Now, after that, he just keeps doing his rotation. It's the same thing over and over, making sure you guys are full HP, making sure you guys are switching to defense. But this is where it gets, oh no, right? I casted an AoE Cure. Heartless Angel comes in, and then after this is when it gets scary. So, we do have our 2 limit breaks. I'm pretty sure that someone's going to die here. So I'm just like, Heartless Angel, you don't have to be in defense mode. Again, the Archangel just brings you down to 1 HP. So stay in attack stance for that full DPS bonus. If you remember, when I didn't have full attack stance, I think I did a total 23,000. Now I did 28,000, right? This would have been pretty much done if I didn't screw up that other summon phase. But here comes Heartless Angel, 1 HP. Your job, Octo Slash is coming. After Heartless Angel, Octus Slash is coming. He's going to buff himself again, physical attack up. So you need to get that Cura. I used the AoE Cure here. I made a big mistake. I was just, oh my god, I'm about to do it. I got flustered. And you can see I'm like, oh no. So I just let Sephiroth die. Right? I switched to defense out of panic. Should have just left in attack mode and let Cloud keep going. Because of the final push, I should be also helping with Rune Ruz and letting Cloud do his thing. Because we're full HP. So I went to Cloud, and I knew his best move was a Thunder Strike, so I casted it, boom, and I finished the fight. It is super hard. It is not easy by all means, but if you follow that pattern where you're going over and over between knowing when he Heartless Archangel, it's only 1 HP, so don't worry about healing. When you do your single target Octo Slash, get a barrier on them, full HP, and during the Wind and Earth weakness phase, don't Sigil break them. A combination of all that while use your limit breaks every time they're up in full attack stance, and you might be able to pass this. So that's pretty much everything. Hopefully something here helped you. I know, again, you do need the right gear, the right power, the right HP, but don't be afraid to sacrifice damage for more HP, because the further you get into it, you can see it's pretty much controlled. I did lose a character there. I didn't need to. If I just focused on single target healing instead of AoE healing, Sephiroth would have survived. But that was my big uh-oh moment. There was a couple mistakes in there, and I was still able to push through. So as long as you follow that pattern of full HP, that target of Octus Slash, that's your biggest threat. And if you really need to, bring in someone that has a barrier, cast that first, and then cast Sephiroth's sword ability, and that'll give you 3 tiers of defense to survive even more. But hopefully something here helped you. I do have a Discord link down below. Twitch streams are down below. Both of those links are there if you need any more questions, help. There's tons of people constantly helping out, so join the community. There's also some surprise there. If you guys figured it out, you'll see. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll smell y'all later.